beautiful people. Welcome back to another episode of Let Me Tell You. I am Miss Deeds, your host. And this is a place where we say things that no one else does. And we hold space for healing the things that you were never taught to name. And today I want to talk about something that often gets dismissed, downplayed, or brushed off like it's not that serious. And that is going to be verbal abuse. And I have a lot to say about this subject, so buckle up, folks. Yes, verbal abuse is abuse, okay? Shall I say it louder for the people in the back? Verbal abuse is abuse, everybody, okay? And let me tell you, from experience, that verbal abuse can be worse than physical abuse. You know, a bruise can heal in a couple weeks, but that torment and emotional deprivation can literally stay with you for so long until you finally feel it and heal through it. When we think of the word abuse, we often think of bruises, broken bones, physical harm, anything of that nature, right? But what about the kind of pain that doesn't show up on your skin, okay? The kind that wraps itself around your self-worth and suffocates your voice and leaves you questioning your value long after that person has stopped speaking. Okay, verbal abuse is real abuse, and the wounds it leaves are just as deep, if not more damaging. Okay, so verbal abuse, let's name it, because clarity is the first step towards freedom. Verbal abuse can sound like, "You're so sensitive," or "You'll never find anyone better than me," "You always mess up everything," "You're lucky I even put up with you," "No one else would love you like I do," "You're just being dramatic," "I was joking." It can also sound like constant yelling or screaming. You know, it's humiliating you in front of others. Name calling or cruel sarcasm disguised as jokes. You know, those backhanded compliments. Silent treatments used as punishment. You know, there's threats. There's intimidation or emotional blackmail. And sometimes it's not what they say, but it's how they say it. The tone, the contempt, the way they make you feel small without ever raising a hand. Let's talk about why it hurts so much and how it affects you so deeply. You know, verbal abuse chips away at your sense of self. You start to believe the insults that are being told to you, and you start to question your own reality, right? You stop standing up for yourself because you've been taught your feelings aren't valid. And the worst part is that society often tells you to just brush it off, right? You're too sensitive. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but words can never hurt me, right? That's what they always say. That's what they taught us in school. But let me tell you, that's probably one of the biggest lies that we were ever taught. It's crazy. Here's the thing. Words can be weapons. You know what I mean? And the way someone speaks to you is never just words. It's emotional energy. It's power, you know? And when someone uses that power to control, belittle, or break you down, that is abuse. I feel so deeply about this subject, you know, because I know there are so many people out there that are in these types of relationships that aren't, you know, doing anything about it. They've maybe been with each other for 50 years, you know what I mean? And the one partner is abusive verbally, but the other partner doesn't realize it's abuse, and they have just settled. You know, they have just settled and they don't want to find someone else, maybe because they don't think that they deserve somebody else. You know what I mean? So just because somebody doesn't hit you does not mean they're not abusing you. Words can be so incredibly hurtful if somebody says it to you in a certain way or whatever they say. My goal is for this video to get to at least one person out there that is in one of these situations and doesn't realize it, and maybe this can change their way of thinking and maybe help them get out of that situation, you know, because I was in that situation as well, and I know how hard it is to get out. So if anybody needs any help or advice, please do not hesitate to reach out, because I would love to help you out. Also, let me tell you, life is crazy. I remember I used to live in my car for a bit because I was homeless, and now look at, I'm rocking some Gucci sunnies. Life can be crazy, you know, if you change your mindset, change your life around, things can get better. In these toxic relationships, there is this cycle of dismissal, right? So many survivors of verbal abuse struggle to validate their experience because no one else saw it, right? There are no police reports, there are no physical bruises, visible, physical, whatever. What is that? Oh, it's a tree. There's no dramatic scenes, you know, just pain and confusion and a slow erasing of your voice. And you start to feel crazy and you don't know what is real anymore. And you are scared to tell anybody, right? Because you don't think it's that serious, right? Because there's nothing physical happening, right? If you've ever wondered, was it really that bad? Or maybe I overreacted. Or they didn't mean it like that. Let me be clear to you guys, okay? If someone's words make you feel unsafe or unloved or less than, your pain is valid. If someone can bring up your insecurities and make fun of them and, you know, in order to put you down, that is abuse. Real love should never make you hurt or question your own worth. You deserve safe words. Okay, love does not raise its voice to overpower yours. Love does not humiliate or intimidate or belittle, right? Love holds space. Love listens. Love builds you up and doesn't tear you down, right? If someone speaks to you in a way that makes you question your worth, it's not love, it's control. And you are allowed to walk away from anyone who confuses the two, okay? This is your sign that you are worth more than their evil words and their evil life, you know, because when someone's mean to you, it's their projection of what they're feeling inside. Okay, that's what you got to remember. It's not personal, right? But they make it personal and they want to tear you down in these relationships. And it's really, really, I was going to say deadly, but it just like tears you down inside. And, you know, you just become a shell of who you were before. Okay, so if you are healing from verbal abuse, I want you to know that it wasn't your fault. Okay, you were not too sensitive. You weren't overreacting. You were being mistreated, period. Okay, and now you get to rebuild your voice. It's gonna be hard because you're gonna hear whoever was belittling you and putting you down, you're gonna hear their voice in your head sometimes. When you're trying to do something, you're gonna hear them say, no, you're not good enough. You know, you can't do that. You're dumb, whatever they used to say, it's gonna be in your head sometimes. But you have to know that you are starting over again and you are gonna be a stronger person. You're never gonna be the person you were before them, but you can be a stronger person, right? The best revenge is doing well for yourself. You know, you get to set new standards for how you deserve to be spoken to. You get to surround yourself with people who speak life into you, not fear. That is the most important. You got to surround yourself with people that bring you up because your voice is sacred. Your boundaries matter, okay? And your healing doesn't need permission at all. You deserve love that feels safe, words that feel gentle, and a connection that doesn't confuse power with affection. If this episode resonated with you, send it to someone who needs this reminder today. You are not alone. And you are so worthy of being spoken to with kindness and gentleness and love, okay? Until next time, be gentle with your mind and generous with your heart. I will see all of you lovely souls in the next video. And I just want to say thank you all for joining me again today. It's been a blast and a half. And now it is time to party. No, I'm kidding. Oh God. I hope everybody has a great day. It was very nice to see you all today in spirit. I'm talking to you guys even though I can't see you. Basically I'm talking to myself right now, but you know, I'm feeling you guys. Anyways, have a great day guys and I'll talk to you soon. Mwah!